Hey everyone, it's Eric with Rockin' HTV going live in the No Secrets Lab. Today I start a short series on how I started a $30,000 a year model business, and my goal here is, this is not me bragging about what I've done because I don't really care about that. What I do care about though is helping you guys do what you want to do, accomplish your goals, however you want to go about that. Maybe you want to start, just contribute to the family income or pay off debt or maintain your hobby and not dip into the family budget. That's what I'm here to help you do, and what I want to accomplish over this short series. And I will admit, this is a bit scary because, you know, when people start throwing numbers around like I'm doing, you know, immediately you can get negative feedback and all that. And I wasn't really sure how this was going to go, so I just thought, if it scares you, you're on the right path, go do it. So here we are. So what I'm going to do is wait just a few more minutes for some more people to gather on the call or on the show, and then we'll dive into it. And today I'm just going to start with a brief history of how I got started, and then I'm going to go and teach you what I did wrong so you don't repeat those mistakes. Okay, so that'll be great for that. And Scott, welcome. Good to see you. He says, my goal is to make what I spend on the hobby. I buy too much for myself. That's a common thread I hear from different guys. And I suppose I might be in a slightly unique position because I don't really collect a lot of stuff. Hey, and thanks for the love, though. Thanks for the thumbs up. I need that just to know I'm on the right path. That helps a lot. Thank you. So that's what I don't collect a lot. I mean, I have a number of pieces, but I don't collect just one specific thing, or, you know, if it makes me happy, then I buy it. And it looks like we have Matthew on the call. Looks like, are you watching from the Combine, Matthew? For those of you watching, Matthew is my son, and he's in Idaho on harvest. And so he is, I don't know if he's on the Combine or not. What are you doing? Talk to us there. Let us know where you're at, Matt. And that'd be pretty cool. Yes, I am. Haha. So he's burning up all his data, by the way, and his folks are paying for that, just so you know. We'll give him a hard time. Hopefully everything's going well for him on the Combine. And coming home to Kansas on Saturday, so that'll be great. Looking forward to that. So we got a couple more minutes here as we let other people smoke a little bit of their lunch break with me and with us. So, gosh, yeah, it's a good day to be alive. It's Wednesday. And here we go. So Matt says, Grant is testing the wheat. I'm sitting around. And yes, the data is very nice. So are you cutting barley or wheat? I thought you were in barley. You're still in barley, right? So, and kind of interesting, he's cutting barley for Budweiser. And then when they were in Montana, they cut barley for Coors, which is kind of cool. Oh, there he is. Ah, he's in barley. All right, well done. Cool. Well, we got another minute here for people to gather up. And like yesterday, I am practicing with the phone on landscape mode versus portrait. And my camera is like right up here, or this, so hopefully I'm looking at you and not looking over here someplace. So this is kind of taking me a little bit to get used to with the wide screen versus the camera at the top. So it's always something new to learn. So if you guys have any questions about live streaming, I'm your guy for that too. All right. So I think it should be 12 o'clock and we are ready to go. Won't be a real long show for you today, just a little bit of information to get us going. So, hello everyone, this is Eric with Rockin' HTV. Today we start a series on how I started a $30,000 a year model business and what I did wrong to begin with, okay? So what we're going to do is I'll just share my story with you and then go through a few things about what not to do so you don't do those things, okay? So back in, look at the center of the phone and you'll be all right. Look at the center of my phone, so look at myself. All right, I'll give that a shot. Okay, so thank you, Nathan, for that tip there. So Let's start back in 2007 when we moved to Dodge City. I took a job here, which I'm currently at, here on my lunch hour, and I didn't have a place to put all my 1/32 scale models. I had a whole bunch of four-wheel drives that I'd collected over a number of years, and that was really cool. But when we moved here, we went down in-house. We went and lost a little space where I could show them off. So they were all in boxes in my garage. And you know how it is in your garage. It gets hot, it gets cold, tires start to dry rot, and things begin to age. I didn't want that, so I started selling them off. And at a toy show, I just started trading things and selling things here in Dodge City. That would have been about 08. Spring of 08, and in that toy show I traded a guy some four-wheel drives for some semis and some combine trailers, and that started my very first custom harvest crew. And I'd always wanted one, so I thought since I had money I would just play with one. And one of the things I needed was a double combine trailer. Couldn't find one anywhere. So I called up Johnson Harvesting out of Minnesota and said, guys, I need some basic dimensions. I want to make one of your trailers just so I can have one in a 1/64 scale model. And then, boom, made my first one. It was terrible. Gave it to my son who's watching. And then made this next one, and it was better. And then finally figured out how to do it well. And these were all handmade out of brass. Everything was handmade out of brass. And I was doing everything at my kitchen table. I mean, I put down a cloth and a board, and I had this whole thing so I could protect the table from any damage and anything like that. And my son who's watching would validate that. He saw me at the kitchen table many a night making models and soldering and doing different things. And from that point, that kind of started the whole interest in custom harvesting crews. I've always had that love, but then it just kind of accelerated since I could now make lots of trailers, and they cost me virtually nothing except brass and time. But what happened was, as I'd start displaying all these things at our local toy show, and I'd post photos online, and one thing led to another. People would say, well, can you make me one? And can you make me one? And then guy would ask, can you make this? Can you make this? And that kind of started the whole idea of making models for money. Okay, that's where all this got started. And Scott says, I remember those first videos, good times. Wow, golly, I can't go back and watch my old videos. Those drive me crazy. Can't watch them. So 2012 is when I formally launched Rockin' H Farm Toys with YouTube and Facebook and the website and all that other stuff. That's when it really became the business that it has grown into today. Back in 2012. And a few things that I did that I don't want you guys to do is you kind of create your model of business, okay? The thing that I did in the beginning was I was doing too many things. I would buy wreckers and Peterbilts on eBay, and then I would make Peterbilt wreckers and flip them on eBay for 99 bucks. I think you can still buy them at that price today. I would do lots of handmade combine trailers and lots of handmade things like header trailers and various things. And it was all great and all that, but I was just doing too many things. And my love was doing the trucks. I really enjoyed working for custom cutters and the people that work for them, just because that was where my interest was anyway, and that's who I wanted to work for. So I segued away from doing all of that stuff and started zeroing in on just doing stuff for custom cutters primarily, and doing trucks and combine trailers and a few service trucks, and maybe I'd trick out a few combines. I mean, I really didn't do much with combines aside from pop-off grain bins, the extensions and stuff like that. But basically I didn't want to do anything with combines. So when guys would ping me a message and they'd say, I want a 4840 tricked out this or that, or I want this, and I want a tricked out combine or something like that, I'd just say, I'm not your guy, but here's a guy who's really good at it, and then I'd send them to someone else that was an expert. And so not spreading yourself too thin is a good idea. Okay? So don't do too many things. At least That's what I did. I narrowed down my focus to things that I really cared about and things I really enjoyed building, and that's what I focused on. And that was it. So that's one thing I did wrong in the beginning, spreading myself too thin. Okay. And then just learning what I wanted to do and just admitting, I love building X. And then zeroing in on that, that was something that I didn't do well in the beginning. I tried retail, and if you've been to my website and you've seen my store, you'll notice that aside from a few digital products, there's nothing left in the store. Like some guys, like a lot of guys on eBay and in some of these Facebook groups about die-cast trucks we belong to, I would buy what I thought was a bargain, for a truck, and then I would mark it up a little bit and then flip it out on eBay or try and flip it in a group or on Toy Tractor Times or something like that. That was a mistake. That was, for me to do that was stupid. And here's why. Because one, I would go out, and at the time you could buy trucks, you could buy cabs for $35. Okay? You could buy them for $35, $40, and this was back in 12 and 13 when the inflation hadn't occurred yet, and they've doubled in price since pretty much. But anyway, so I'd go out and I'd buy these things for $35 or $40, and I'd try and flip them for $50. Well, I'm making $10 on my money, not to mention I had to pay taxes, and then a hassle factor and eBay fees and PayPal fees. By the end of the day, you're breaking even barely. And it was exhausting because I'd wrap $400 or $500 up in trucks trying to make a little money on them, and it was just a big pain in the butt because I wasn't good at it. I didn't have enough volume to create any significant income anyway, and it just took time away from what I was really good at, which was doing the repaint, doing the tricking trucks out and doing some different things and stuff like that. And making the harvest crews for the cutters and all that stuff. That's what I was really good at. And here I was distracted by answering tedious questions and posting another photo of a 379 or something like that. And it was just a waste of my time. And getting away from retail was one of the smart things I did, because it just didn't fit anything I was doing. And the benefit to me was there was no capital outlay. I didn't have money tied up in inventory and all of those things. And even my combine trailers, which, I'd buy $1,000 worth of parts for combine trailers, and then I'd hire a teenager or get my kids to solder them together, and, I'd sell them off. Even as that wasn't a terrible thing, but even that I've kind of lost interest in, and even though that was one of my signature products, I've migrated away from even that. I've got a few parts left over for combine trailers, and then after that I'm pretty well done doing any of that as well. So getting away from retail was a smart thing for me to do. Back in the beginning, I poorly priced stuff. I had terrible pricing, and I don't mean that as in I was charging too much. I just was not charging enough. Again, it goes back to the whole me buying what I thought was a good deal on a DCP truck and trying to resell it, as I said a few minutes ago. I would still not price my retail products and my custom stuff well. And part of that is, again, I'm kind of bashing on retail here, but that's just not meant for me. The reason for that is I would try and make a whole bunch of things. Well, I wouldn't try. I made a bunch of stuff to sell at a toy show, and because my products were so narrow in interest, I had a pretty specific niche. End-dump trucks, custom harvesting things, and just, trailers and this and that, but very specific, narrow, small market items. And here I'd spend a bunch of money creating inventory to sell at a toy show for people that weren't looking for it. They didn't necessarily come to a toy show to buy, a $150 or $200 item. They were looking for $50 items and maybe $100 items in 1/64. and kind of off the shelf stuff, not custom. So here I'd carry, 60, 70 pieces or more to a toy show, and I'd take 50 or 60 of them back home. And then I had to dump them on eBay for no money. And again, that was dumb. For me, that was just a terrible thing. Pricing my items poor and then going back trying to be a retail store, not smart for Eric. And then the big thing is, and I'm sure some of you can identify with this, I didn't know what the hell I was doing most of the time. I was throwing things up against the wall, trying to make anything stick just to keep my operation going, to keep having fun, to keep enjoying things. I just didn't know what I was doing. I mean, it was a growth process from day one. It was at every turn, it's like, how in the world do I do this? How do I build a website? How do I market on eBay? How do I do 3D printing? And at every turn, I didn't know what I was doing at all of that stuff. How do you stretch a truck? How do you do this? Oh my gosh, it was just painful. But that's part of the process that I had to get through. And I don't think you can avoid some of that. Some of that's just the natural process of diving into some area that you're not familiar with and then just learning how to work it out. And, and asking right questions to right people to get the right answers, or doing the right keyword search to get a good search result on Google, or YouTube or something like that. Now, one of the good things about from where I started to where I am now is because I like doing the tutorials and I enjoy teaching and giving away what I know, for a lot of guys, some of those things that I had to learn, you don't have to go through that steep learning curve because I've given away the answers. Okay, so not everything, of course, but there's a number of things that I've kind of helped the diecast world do or learn just from what I've been able to accomplish myself. So that is one good thing from where I was to where we are now. So trying to think of some other things. If you have a question, now's a good time to answer or ask that question, because I'm going to keep this brief to respect your lunch hour, and so I can go eat while we have some time before I have to come back and punch the clock again. So those are a few things that I did wrong that I hope you guys can learn from, and don't do those same things. Don't do too many things like I did. Take time to figure out what you want to do and be an expert at it. For me, trying retail was a mistake. That's not where I needed to spend my time and energy and my capital. And poor pricing was another mistake, but that's back related to retail, and I'll dive into a bit more of that tomorrow. And the other thing is, and you can't really avoid this, I didn't know what I was doing. So those are 4 things that if you can avoid doing those things, that'll help you down the road. And maybe your model is retail, and if that is what you want to do, I don't know what to tell you about that. Okay, Eric says, as far as your combine trailers, why not resin cast them? I don't know. You're free to give it a go if you want. I think, well, I'm having one combine trailer 3D printed, and that was a single. It's going to have some moving wings. Another guy and I partnered up on that. And then as far as my double combine trailer, I don't know if 3D printing's the right answer for that because it's so long. I think it might sag in the middle. I don't know. We might give that one a go just for fun and see how it works. But I had all of my frames and all that stuff laser cut out of 12 gauge sheet metal. And then what I would do is have, like I said, I'd hire my kids or some local teenager to come in and solder them together. Or I'd sell the parts, and then they were good and strong, and you could kind of let kids play with them too, which was pretty nice. You could actually play with those. So, and I just never thought of resin. It's kind of no secret I'm not a big resin guy, and that's not to offend anyone. It's just I tried resin, and if I'd have done it right and had done it the right way, I'd probably still be a fan of it, but my experience was poor and just left a bad taste in my mouth. I know other guys like Eric here are experts at it, and that is awesome. Good for you guys. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to cover tomorrow. I have my notes here, and I have lesson 2 right here in front of me so you guys can get an idea. Okay, so lesson 2 tomorrow will be some things that I did right. I'm going to tell you how I was able to rank high in Google. I get ranked in Google for things that I don't even do. I've typed in GCP 389 Peterbilt, and up comes my website. So I'll tell you how I did that. I'm going to tell you some of the secret sauce I did to keep my clients and to keep really good, higher paying clients around. I know a lot of guys get burned out with, because they hear, I've read stories on Facebook about bad clients. Guys, I had really awesome clients, and I'll tell you how I got those. And a couple of just little housekeeping things that I did that I think made a difference over time. At least they did for me, and I think my clients ended up respecting when I made mistakes, some things that I did to solve that. So that will be tomorrow's lesson, and then the final lesson will be some of the things that I did to really, I tell you, I was doing really well, and then all of a sudden I was doing holy crap, this is fun, and shiz, I can't believe I'm making this much money. I'll tell you what I did in 2014 to make a huge difference. One of the scariest things I did, aside from this video, and right, there we go. So there you go. Those are the next 2 lessons, and I hope you will tune in for those because I'm really excited for them. Like I said, I hope one of these ideas will resonate, and some of you guys can take one and employ it and make a difference in what you're trying to accomplish. Again, I know, myself included, and a lot of guys watching, we all do this as part-time. We do it for fun. We do it to maintain our hobbies. We do it for the challenge of it. Maybe to make some side income of some sort for various things. We're not at it full-time, I get that. But there's smart things you can do to raise the level of income and satisfaction you get from doing this. So there you go, guys. I'm going to let you go. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and share. Feedback is always great. I've got pretty thick skin, so even if you don't agree with me, leave a comment. That is perfectly fine. I'd love to keep the conversation going that way. So with that, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'll see you tomorrow at noon. Catch you later. Bye.